Were you involved in the evacuation of Aden?
Evacuation of Aden?
Yeah.
Yes, I was, yes. We were the last troops on the ground, and that was in the days when you were against an enemy that if they caught you, you could expect most severe treatment. Those were the type of enemies when I talk about working in the Persian Gulf.
What was the Aden evacuation about? I'm not familiar with it.
Well, it was that, the British, had been there for 200 years, I think, and so then when it is finally over, we're saying, well, we're leaving you to it. We're not it's not just Aden, it's South Yemen.
Yeah.
That's where the British like to call it, just refer to it as Aden, but it was South Yemen. And they are very vicious fighters. And in one instance, it was a night raid that we had to perform in, a very warm climate, so it's very muggy. There are scents, upon the nose that are in the air. And we were to raid a particular place in South Yemen. There's a place called Sheikh Othman, a notorious area for casualties. I mean, there's places called Grenade Corner. If you went round the corner, you'd be liable to be grenaded. But on this particular raid, it was the intelligence officer, and we were in four-man patrol strength, and we went into the building with the intelligence officer, and I knew straight away that this is no good here. They've got the wrong people. That was in my private opinion. Anyway, my four-man patrol withdrew from there and went down the same road, and we came to an open door with a staircase, and I had an associate, Barry, who was a sergeant commanding another four-man patrol, and I said to him, what about this place? So we decided to climb the stairs, which we did. We got to the top of the stairs, and I felt the door, and I knew that this door is not an ordinary Arab door. Arab doors are usually flimsy places. And I said to him in a whisper, this is it. This is and as I said, this is the place, there was an enormous burst of machine gun fire immediately behind our heads and from above behind us. And it was that close that the spent cases from the burst of machine gun fire, which was a Kalashnikov, dropped down and hit my neck and shoulders, and I felt the singe of the red hot case. And I said to Barry, shoot the fucking door! And he shot the door through the lock area. I then put my arm around his back, and his arm was round my back, charged the door, kicked the door down. I then immediately turned around because I knew that my magazine on my rifle would still be full, whereas his would have been 5 shots light that he put through the door lock. I turned and came onto a small landing in utter darkness, and from a room which was ahead of me, there was a doorway, and there was gurgling and a horrible sound of somebody that is about to die. And I said to Barry, who stood on the right hand side of the door and I was on the left. I said, try inside. If you can feel the light switch, put it on. If it works on, immediately switch off. I said, then I count 1001, 1002, 1003. I go in at low level. You cover my back. He tried to switch. Oh, lo and behold, the light went on. I kept one eye closed to preserve night vision in my right eye. And then 1001, 1002, 1003, light on, in I went at low level. Carnage. Right in the centre of the room was a bar stool, and pointing towards me in that bar stool was a full magazine of Kalashnikov rounds. As I look into the room, there in the right corner are two men dead. Next to them is a man lying, obviously not dead, and I know that this is the bastard with the Kalashnikov. Next to him is the man making the gurgling sounds, and he later on I found had been shot 3 times across the chest, because as I was mounting the stairs to get to the doorway, there was 3 more bursts of machine gun fire inside that room. The man lying on the floor, I said, "You go to Allah!" And as I said that to him, because I knew he's got a Kalashnikov under him, the magazine, full magazine is on bar stool, he turned, and as he turned, his hands were manacled with cable ties. I said to him, "Where is the bastard with the Kalashnikov? I didn't kill that man." He said, "Oh, sorry, sir, he's gone up the stairs." I said to Barry, I said, "You cover my back." And the stairs rising above me, I went bang, 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 at ascending intervals, so that I knew as I went up the stairs, if he was in an ambush position, that would disturb him at the very least. I got to the top of the staircase, and there I'm now into the skylight. I see the sky above me, but I know not to put my head above the parapet, because we, being paras, we'd put a machine gun stop at the bottom of the road. And as I got to the top, still looking for the man with the Kalashnikov, I hear the machine gun burst of fire down the road. They got him. They got the man that I flushed out. So I then go back down to the staircase to Barry, and I decided I must call my patrol in, because I've got to get these bodies out of here. And so I call my patrol in. The other 3 men, they come into the room with me and Barry. Barry then sort of goes away with his patrol outside of the building. And I say to my boys, okay, we've got to get these bodies downstairs for evacuation. So they carry the 2 bodies down. One of my lads says to me, the man is gurgling up lumps of blood and all the rest of it, and he's delirious. He says, "Oh, Bob, put him out of his misery." And I thought, well, no, I won't. He might live. And I'd also thought at the same time, yeah, he might live to try and kill us again. But I carried the man, I slung my rifle across my shoulder, which you never normally do, and I carried that man, gurgling up lumps of blood, downstairs to the armoured car. I was put in the back of the armoured car to handle all the prisoners in the back of the car, and Barry, the sergeant, he sat in front next to the driver. We went back for debrief finally by the Royal Military Police, but before we ever went anywhere at all, I said to the assembled company in the back of it, dark, armoured car, if any of you causes me any trouble whatsoever, I will send you to Allah. I don't care whether you speak English or not. I know that some of you do, and if you do know that, tell anybody who doesn't understand English that they will be sent to Allah. I got to the debriefing area in Radfan camp eventually, and we were debriefed by the Royal Military Police, and that is the story that I told them. And it's not a story, it was fact as far as I know. There was no other officer and no other person present during that action. And that was an action carried out by Barry, what's his name? I forget his surname. He was the sergeant. And you know, as a matter of further interest, nobody even said thanks. You know, but I delivered them there to the Royal Military Police for debriefing. That was one of the actions, you know.
And Barry got mentioned in...
Oh, he got mentioned in dispatches, yeah.
Thank you for your time, Grandpa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that enough?
Is that it?
Bye guys, remember to click that subscribe button down below, and also peace.